Nigerian Nightmare.
The first time I heard of that name, I was surprised. I didn't understand it quite well. Then below it, it was described that he scares his opponents, that his opponents run away from him because of his force. That if somebody tries to oppose him, he pushes him down. Well, it was then that I understand why that name was given to him.
You're going to be a football player when you grow up?
Today is the best day of your life. Believe
Give me 18 years of daylight. That's all.
Greatest leader I've ever known.
What a ride it's been.
An incredible run by the Nigerian Nightmare, Christian Okoye.
People start coming up to me saying, you know, you are the dream, but you know about Nigerian Nightmare. Who is that?
Christian Okoye. Wow. I'm having a dream or something?
No, a nightmare. A Nigerian nightmare. Funny, huh?
Christian Okoye, the greatest thing he did was before games, he would run around the entire field. I always wanted the opponent to see how big he was.
First time I saw him was like, wow. Shoulders like this, waist like this. I'm going, this is a running back?
Christian! If it's not in, we're going to go 25 lead. Okay. Get down, get your pads down, and make a hole if there isn't one.
I got you.
All right, make a hole.
A lot of times they'll call plays, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting the ball. I'm just going. Against Seattle, you don't hear anything. It's very, very loud. And every time he comes to the line of scrimmage and calls plays, I didn't hear him. And the play was going left. I was going right.
Getting the snap, John. Hand off Okoye. He's past the 10. He's past the 5. He chucks it. Touchdown. Unbelievable. An incredible run with about 5 guys on his back by the Nigerian Nightmare, Christian Okoye.
Don't ever get in this guy's way. One thing he didn't do was cut.
You said, 44 Bob, which is 4 back through 4 hole with a blocker in front. He was going 4 back through the 4 hole. There were 6 people there. I mean, he was a straight line runner. Whoever was there was going to run over you or try to run over you. You got him going north and south. He was unstoppable.
They would hit him, and I'm like, why can't they stop this guy?
Hey, he's gonna wear your ass out. He's gonna wear your ass out, baby. He's gonna wear your ass out.
I see why they call him the Nightmare, because how he's running through.
You're a master. They didn't want to hit you. Nobody wants to hit you. I don't want to hit you.
This is an honest-to-goodness truth. He's the only guy I can ever remember seeing players as they got ready to tackle him would put their head behind him so they didn't have to endure the blow that was forthcoming as he was making the finish to a run.
I asked Deion Sanders one time, what do you do when Christian Okoye breaks into the backfield and he's running downhill? And he said, then you make a business decision.
When a guy like that's coming at you, like, how in the world are you going to hit a guy like that?
The whole thing about your life passing before you, it's true. I see a Christian is going to hit this gap to my right. and I put my arm out, to try and slow him down. And I realized it's not really gonna work. And so, to my teammates, I apologize. I pulled my arm back in. I went and said, I hope there's a linebacker there.
The Nigerian Nightmare. It's a name and a story that reads as if it were conjured from African folklore. A Nigerian man possessing the build of a weightlifter and the speed of a sprinter comes to America to throw the discus. He gets his hands on a football and becomes one of the most astonishing power backs the game has ever seen. Christian Okoye's runs were legendary, but there's one collision he wished history would forget.
I know which one you're talking about.
Take over. Tell me which one.
The hit you're talking about with him is Steve Atwater. Now, that's a funny story.
Do you see my arms crossed? Okay. Keep asking.
Tell me about that play. First of all,
You're gonna see the nightmare in me, man.
Somewhere tonight, there's going to be one of the great collisions when Atwater, who hits like a tank, is going to collide with Christian Okoye.
Okoye up the middle. And he is knocked dead in his tracks at the 15. What a hit. Atwater. Wow, what a sock by Atwater.
This hit, Steve was mic'd, and when they hit, and it was on Monday night. Everybody saw it.
Okoye really gets banged back. I don't know if Frank Okoye has ever gone backwards like that.
I teased Christian about, I said, Christian, I said, boy, Steve, man, I am so sick of hearing that. I ran over that guy so many times. I said, Christian, but it was on Monday night. Everybody saw it. I know, but I ran on him so many times. I said, settle down, Christian, settle down. Christian hates that. I'm telling you, he hates that.
I've seen a lot of people, and I don't know if they're starstruck. They always bring that up when that one dude got lucky and hit him when his feet was off the deck.
The Steve Atwater hit.
Oh, he brought it up. He brought it up again.
Sorry for bringing that up.
That's okay. That's all right. I'm used to it. It was a big deal because it never happened, right? I totally gave up on that play, and he got me good. And it was a big deal forever. Give me a break.
Coming up.
Of course, no phone calls because I didn't have any phones in Nigeria.
The unlikely journey that brought the Nigerian Nightmare to America.
A pistol? Oh, really? People call football players heroes. But when you see all my friends here, and when you look at Eddie and listen to him talk and tell you stories about the things that he went through, I mean, as a football player, I never went through something like that. You were there then?
Yeah, 05, 06.
Oh, okay.
Then I got blown up in September of 06.
When you put your life on the line to do your job, it's a totally different story. So they are the real heroes.
I really consider him a really good friend. He has a real special place in his heart for Impact a Hero and the veterans.
My hands, they don't do a handshake very well because of the burns. So I always throw my hand out for a fist pound. And he never gives me a fist pound, ever. I always get a big hug.
What you're seeing right now in America with the kids that went to Iraq. I saw that.
Christian Okoye lived through the Nigerian Civil War as a child.
When the war came to our hometown, we saw, horrible stuff. We became refugees.
I remember hearing the bullets and the ammo going overhead. I remember seeing dead bodies on the side of the road because soldiers would get injured. In the process of them getting help, they would just collapse and die.
After 30 months of violence, the Okoyes returned to their hometown, where Christian most enjoyed playing soccer. His father disapproved.
It was in cause of my playing football, I sustained a lot of injuries. And that was why I dreaded Christian taking to sports. I told him, I don't want you to take to soccer. I sent you to school to learn because I have very poor education. So I want to give you the chance so that you will be educated.
I was a bit of a rebel, I guess. I played too much.
So he'll pretend like he's going to go fetch water and he'll play soccer. And I was the dad who tell him, sorry, but we would tell our dad where he was when he comes back asking where is Christian.
He used to call it lashes. He would chase me down with a cane. But this happened like every single day.
Christian's other passion was to run at the school track. He was seen by the coach of the national team.
It is our tradition to go around the schools to look for talents, to train for the state and national meets. He was one of them I spotted. I told him, you leave sprinting because you are getting bigger and bigger now.
Well, we have the discus ring here.
I want you to get into shot and disc and specialize and get to any level you want to.
When my dad heard that I was practicing and throwing shot in the discus, he says, another sport? No. So I told Coach Anokwa about that. He drove to my house, spoke to my dad.
I trained as a coach in Germany and then in the United States in the 70s at the University of South Carolina. I said, I can connect you to some of the schools. That's not a problem. So they showed a lot of interest.
When I started doing well through Coach Anokwa, I met Innocent Egbunike, who at the time just came back from Moscow Olympics in 1980.
We did our pretty well as friends and brothers. He had lost his mom, so my mom took him in as her son as well.
Innocent Egbunike wanted to attend a Southern California school to prep for the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles.
USC was interested in me, so a lot of big schools were interested in me, but my mom said, no, you're going to go to a Christian school, because if you go to a public school, I will lose you. I will lose you to all the women in America.
She also wanted him to keep his friend Christian in his thoughts.
She sat me down and told me, if opportunity presented itself where I was going, to make sure that I help, Christian come along with me.
Egbunike chose NAIA school Azusa Pacific, 30 miles outside Los Angeles. Egbunike became the greatest sprinter in school history. In the 100-meter NAIA championship, he beat future NFL's fastest man and Hall of Famer, Darrell Green.
He had told me about his fellow countryman, a guy by the name of Christian Okoye. And because we had had such a great experience with Innocent, I thought, well, let's go talk to the college president about Christian.
An offer was made. Okoye eagerly accepted.
I was so determined to do very, very well. I had 2 more years before the Olympics.
He starred in the hammer throw, but his best event was the discus. He was NAIA champion, African record holder, and among the top 5 in the United States.
And I had been communicating back and forth with the Nigerian officials about Innocent, who they saw as being maybe their big chance to win their first Olympic track and field medal. And I began to tell them about Christian. Basically, they were saying, you know, we've never really had a great thrower. And I said, well, you do now. And so I would give them information and send the marks of his competitions, and they could look at how he was doing. I thought it was a shoo-in that not only would Innocent be in the '84 Olympic Games, but Christian would be in the Olympic Games as well. It was maybe 2 or 3 months before the Olympic Games that I realized that they had not put him on the list. I had already offered to house him here at Azusa Pacific. I would drive him from Azusa to Los Angeles. I said, you don't have to spend any money on his food. Just put him on your roster. And they said it was too late.
When I found that I wasn't going to be in the Olympics, it was devastating for me. I loved track at the time so much. I loved throwing discus so much. I trained so hard, and I was throwing as far as anybody else in the world, but they didn't take me. Till today, I don't know the reason why they left me out.
At the time, Nigeria was not known for throws. Nigeria was known for sprints. They didn't have confidence in how he would perform at that level.
We had had tickets to go and watch Innocent run in the 400 meters. And so my wife said, can you get one more and we'll take Christian? And I said, honey, I'm not sure if he'll want to go. Because here he's going to sit in the stands, watch Innocent run, and actually the discus competition was going on.
Okoye went and watched the Olympics with Coach Franson. Igbunike won the bronze medal in the 4x400 relay, the first Olympic medal in Nigerian track and field history. Then came the discus. The distances of the top 3 finishers were well within Okoye's reach.
I was telling him, man, I could have medaled. I could have came home with a medal, at least a bronze, I think.
He began to tear up, and I was emotional as well, and I was so sorry. I said, Christian, I'm so sorry. We'll go for it in '88. He said, Coach, we could go forward in '88, and the same political things that kept me off the team could happen again 4 years from now.
So disappointed that, okay, I'm not going to do track and field anymore. I just finished school, but I'm going to do something else.
Christian Okoye came to America to be an Olympian. He was one of the best discus throwers in the world, but he was left off the Nigerian team. Devastated, and now 23 years old, Okoye wondered what he should do now.
I thought to myself, I'm going to play football. I didn't know anything about the game. None. I told Coach Mihon, I said, I saw this thing on the news where this guy from the Raiders came around and ran a long ways to score a touchdown. I said, who was that? He says, Marcus Allen. I said, what position is that? He told me, running back. I said, that's the position I want.
I laid out 40 yards on the grass up there, and I said, let's see physically what we have. His first time that he ran for me in the 40 was 4.38.
He had the physical tools, but everything else he had to learn.
Football numbering systems, directions, play names, those kinds of things were a mystery to him. We had NAIA All-American tailback in Joe Schulter. Schulter found a big piece of cardboard and made an arrow out of it. And so every time that Christian would go the wrong way, Schulter would pick up his arrow from behind the huddle and bring it out and lay it down on the grass and go, you go that way.
I was at free safety, and he was going to be starting at fullback, and he knocked me on my back. I think I probably flew 5 or 6 feet backwards. I had a sense where I gave everything I had, and it made no difference, really. I just said, you know, maybe I better not do this football thing again and just focus on the decathlon. And the first year after that, I won the U.S. championships.
Dave Johnson gave up on football and became an Olympian, as well as the inspiration behind a national advertising campaign. Okoye gave up his Olympic dream to play football.
Christian might knock you down, but he'd pick you up and pat you and say, what a nice guy you were.
On occasion, the former soccer player showed he could still kick. But his running back skills got the most notice. In 3 years, he ran for over 3,500 yards, scored 34 touchdowns, and averaged nearly 7 yards a carry. Yet, he was bypassed for all the senior all-star games.
They invite the top guys in the NC2As, you know. Look at me. I went to Azusa Pacific, small school. How can I fit in, you see?
And now that one's going to stop him that way.
When Heisman runner-up, running back Paul Palmer, bowed out of the Senior Bowl, there was an opening. Okoye stepped in, even though he had a bum ankle.
I scored 4 touchdowns. The record still stands.
In April, he got the call. The Chiefs had drafted him in the 2nd round.
Hello? Yeah. That'd be great. That'd be great.
All right. I mean, when he walked out there, everybody's like, oh my God. I mean, the guy looked like he was chiseled out of granite. I'd never seen anybody like that who called himself a running back.
The Chiefs took running backs in both the 1st and 2nd round that year. First was Palmer. Palmer was highly touted. 2nd rounder Okoye was 26 years old, largely unknown, and his role was still undefined.
Their first thought would be fullback because of his size.
Get your hands up in the heart and get them up in the numbers.
But, you know, God bless the guy. He wasn't the greatest blocker in the world.
Up in the numbers, move your feet, move your feet.
And I think part of Christian's limitations that he may have had a lot to do with inexperience. Like, he's running the ball, but he doesn't really realize kind of what he's doing.
As a rookie, I go full speed. If only one person is going full speed, things can happen there that is not supposed to happen.
He ran right into me. I mean, he almost knocked me out. I didn't see you, he says. And I say to him, Christian, open your eyes, man. I've never been hit that hard.
I'll tell you how different it was. Right after we broke camp, I had a farm. Brought him over for dinner. He comes over and he says, oh, Bill, you have goats. I said, yeah, my kids got a pet goat each, with a bunch of pet animals. And he goes, oh, give me one of your goats. I said, what? He goes, I want one of your goats to eat. I said, I'm not going to give you my kid's pet goat. Christian, he goes, but Bill, they're very good, very good.
That's the stable meat in Nigeria. So I called Coach Milhon, of course. Everything that happened to me, I called back and told them. I said, I'm going to get a goat.
Christian, a boat? Why would you buy a boat?
You don't need a boat. You live in Kansas. I said, no, I'm going to go get a goat.
I said, where do you keep the goat? And then there was this pause, like, my coach is so stupid. He said, in the freezer, coach.
I was so excited I found a farm in Kansas City where you can go and buy a goat. They can kill it, process it, and you take it home, put it in the freezer.
Okoye had found a hidden gem. The Chiefs were hoping they had one too.
They had to bring him along, and they had to bring him along fast. You know, you're 265 and run like that. Dude, just give him the ball.
There's a block. There's a hole. Okoye breaks it 3, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. Touchdown!
In his first game, he ran for over 100 yards.
This is not even fair. This is ridiculous. Clearly, nobody wanted to tackle him, really. I mean, they had to try, but nobody really wanted to tackle him. And I jumped up in the film and I said, Okoye, you're every defensive back's worst nightmare. And Irv Eatman, our starting left tackle, jumped up. Yeah, the Nigerian nightmare. And that's where it stuck.
The Chiefs' sleeper pick was a Nigerian nightmare, but he was not yet a dream NFL running back.
I love being around Christian. Here was a guy that it was like his eyes were wide open. He was kind of naive, you know, just really didn't understand pro football.
How you feel, dog? I'm fine. It was a big hole, man. It was just for me to...
The guys loved him. They'd make fun of him in the huddle.
Ron would call the play, and then Christian would say, I don't know that play. You know, and so, you know, because he knew all the plays where he was getting the ball. He knew that, that's for sure.
Like he'd say, I'm going to bounce this outside. Just shove or run the ball.
Oh, you gonna be out there growling?
Yeah.
And whenever you get hit, that wasn't nothing. That wasn't nothing. You gotta come better than that. You gotta come better than that.
Oh, no, man.
Oh, no. American football, #1.
#1, that's right.
From the moment he arrived in the NFL, Christian Okoye was a league-wide curiosity.
How do you want your last name pronounced?
Christian Okoye.
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 Yeah.
They said this guy, this African guy, he's 265. He runs a 4.40. I'm like, that's a lie. I don't believe that. That's just not possible. And then when I saw him, I'm like, okay, it's possible.
His athletic gifts seemed to have no limits.
The one thing we are trying to experiment with is, because the javelin is one of his skills, having Christian pick up the quarterback and just throw the quarterback with the ball.
But one thing he couldn't do was catch.
He's a soccer guy. He came from using his feet. You don't use your hands very much in soccer.
Football was crazy ball, man. It's not round like I know. So when they threw the ball, I dropped it a lot of times.
Okoye's inexperience made him an easy target.
he ran like this. Not, didn't get his pad level. He ran like this. And you don't coach guys to run like that.
We're playing Chicago, and he's just chuckling. We're all looking at him. What's so funny? He goes, "Oh, Bill, you give me the ball. The fridge, he come flying through the air and land right on top of me." He said, "Oh, Bill," he shake like a big bowl of jelly.
He was figuring it out. Every rep was another experience. You could see the difference from the first year to the second year. And I remember talking to Rod Martin, our outside backer. I said, "Rod, when that guy figures it out, he's going to be a beast." He figured it out the next year.
In 1989, Marty Schottenheimer became the Chiefs' head coach.
Get 2 hands on the ball. No, Christian. Get in the end zone. You don't stop at the 5-yard line, or I'll put somebody else in the game to score the touchdown. Okay, Mun?
All right, Coach. I remember him giving me a call and saying, "Christian, I need to chat with you." I'm thinking, is my career over? I didn't know what was going on.
Oh, it was pretty obvious what Marty Schottenheimer was going to do. We all know the backbone of Marty's offense was running the football. He had the perfect component for his offense.
Start it right here.
Joe Pendry was our offensive coordinator, and Joe was a very good designer of offense. We'd work on 3 wide, 4 wide motion, spread the field, throw the football. All of a sudden, that play calling meeting on Friday afternoon, Marty come in. Let's get back to the dirty dozen, which were like 11 running plays with Christian up the middle and 1 pass play.
We're going to throw him the ball out of the backfield instead of letting him go wreak havoc up in the interior of the line? I don't think so.
Now, Christian, make sure you start downhill. Don't start out wide. Start downhill and break it out if his head's outside. All right. Don't change the angle of the way you enter the hole. Okay. Let's go, Mon.
All right, Coach.
Schottenheimer's plan was put to the test when the Chiefs faced Paul Palmer and his new team, the Cowboys. Okoye ran for a career-best 170 yards.
Hand off, Okoye up the middle to the 5. Touchdown, Okoye. Boy, he is too big and too fast to be playing running back in the NFL.
Christian! Keep it up. Keep it up.
Here's a handoff, Okoye up the middle. Okoye past the 15, past the 10, past the 5. He's going to carry 2 guys in for a touchdown.
In just over 5 years, Okoye had gone from knowing nothing about football to one of its biggest stars.
Our next story is about one of the best running backs in pro football today, Eric Dickerson. No? Bo Jackson? Yes again. Try Christian Okoye.
He finished 1989 as the NFL's rushing champion with 1,480 yards on 370 carries, while catching just 2 passes.
The remarkable thing about Christian, with all of the hoopla going on around him, with all of the excitement about what he was doing, what the Chiefs were able to do, he never changed. He was Christian Okoye, and as I refer to him often, CO, commanding officer.
Come on, big man.
Up next.
You're the guy who hit Christian Okoye. Man, I remember that hit. I said, okay, that was a nice hit, but Christian was a great running back, and he had some other things going on in his life.
After winning the NFL rushing title in 1989, the Chiefs' massive running back had become one of the game's biggest attractions. Christian Okoye was promoted as the centerpiece of a Chiefs renaissance and an international ambassador for the sport of football. In Berlin, he chipped away at the wall.
There you go. You guys got some already?
In Nigeria, he broke through it, the first Nigerian star in the NFL.
Being the first of to break the barrier, you know, so it's been done before. So now there's hope. Okay, this is basketball, the dream, and this is the football, the nightmare. I mean, that's, you know, unbelievable, this story.
One of our sons, his name is Christian Okoye. He is now in America playing American football. He started the way you started, that is by playing soccer. You have seen him. And also the basketball player, Olajuwon, have you seen him?
And then he was on Sports Illustrated, and I was taking it around, showing my friends, you know, here's my brother, my name was on it. You know, so it was a huge thing for us at the time.
Tell him that was 1989, Christian. Doesn't mean a thing. Doesn't mean a thing.
What have y'all done for me lately?
That's right. What have you done for me lately?
1990 would indeed be different. Before the season began, he and his then wife suffered a heartbreaking tragedy.
We lost our first child. Of course, he was stillborn. And it was a hard time to go through. I remember I didn't go to training camp on time. Of course, people didn't know. And some people are thinking Christian Okoye led the league in rushing. He's big time now. He's holding out for more money. But that wasn't true.
When Okoye returned to the Chiefs, they had signed another power running back.
You know, I was happy for the phone call, obviously, but it was Kansas City, and this guy named the Nigerian Nightmare, Christian Okoye, was their starting running back. And having not known him at that time, I assumed that this guy was evil. Right away with me, with anyone, he is the nicest guy.
This is it, baby. This is it. This is how we do it here in Kansas City. That's right.
As a Nigerian Nightmare, it doesn't really fit.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
100%?
Yeah.
Good.
Okoye and Barry Word each received over 200 carries and combined for over 1,800 rushing yards.
Are you tired?
Ah, not anymore.
1990 was the Chiefs' best season in 19 years. By the end of 1991, Okoye was just 2 yards shy of the Chiefs' all-time rushing mark.
Hey, CO. How many times have you come around the corner and a guy's ever hit you high? None. Think about this. The next time you're coming around a corner, guy, just jump in the air. He'll go right underneath you. You keep going.
There's the spin. There's the handoff. Okoye. He's got the record. Hurdles the defender at the 20. And ladies and gentlemen, history in the making. Christian Okoye, the all-time ground leader in the history of the Kansas City Chiefs.
One of the most enjoyable players I ever coached. We had a message to bring, and he was our primary letter carrier.
I don't think Christian ever really grasped that when you do stuff, you kind of want to send a message as you do it. I think he just ran the ball.
What was going on that allowed you to gain so many yards?
The guys up front were blocking so well, so I didn't have any other choice.
Straight ahead, huh?
Oh, yes. Always.
If he were a meaner guy, he probably would have played longer. He probably would have hurt a lot of people in the process of playing. But he's not really a mean guy. He kind of didn't get it.
I never missed football when I left. Didn't miss it, one bit. I missed my teammates, but I didn't miss football. I missed Kansas City. I missed, you know, the whole thing about the team. But as far as football itself, the contact was just, it was too much.
He might have looked invincible, but he wasn't. 6 NFL seasons was all the pounding he could take.
An overwhelming majority of people do say, hey, yeah, you're the guy who hit Christian Okoye. Man, I remember that hit. And, you know, I say, okay, well, hey, that was a nice hit. But again, Christian was a great running back, and he had some other things going on in his life.
Steve Atwater's famous hit came 2 months after Okoye lost his son.
What I also think, since that happened near the end of his career, that's kind of what people remember. If Christian had played more years after that, if he had gone to the Pro Bowl a couple more times, it would have been forgotten.
Now repeat after me. Keep looking, keep learning, keep laughing.
At heart, the Nigerian nightmare may have been merely a gentle giant.
Keep looking, keep learning, keep laughing.
But try explaining that to anyone who tried to tackle him.
It was no fun for most guys on our defense. It was no fun for me either, don't get me wrong. It was a nightmare for me as well.
As great a player as Christian was, I really think about how good he really could have been. You know, if he could have been a guy that would learn how to juke people and make people miss, he didn't care about any of that.
I marvel at the guy, to be honest with you. To do what he did and how he did it with so little experience it's amazing to me. Because there's lots of guys who have the physical skills like that. But he was able to do it because he possessed the other things as well. Natural runner skill, like great hips, an ability to learn on the fly. And there was still a lot to learn, but he learned enough to be able to be an all-pro, for goodness sake. Who does that?
Coming up, Okoye revisits his journey.
Just spinning it like this feels good because that's how you find your groove. There you go. Nice feet, nice feet. Watch the ball now, watch the ball. Good job.
Christian Okoye didn't play football very long, but he left a lasting legacy. He is the founder and president of the California Sports Hall of Fame. He has not yet been inducted, but to most anyone who saw him compete, he remains unforgettable.
I was babysitting last night, actually, and I said that I was going to be filming today for my dad, and the parents were like, "Who's your dad?" And I was like, "Or what's your last name?" I said, "Okoye," and the dad just kind of was shocked. Like, what? You're the daughter of the Nigerian Nightmare? I'm like, yeah, I am. So it's definitely still relevant, even though it's been quite a while since he played.
25 years ago, they cheered for the leading rusher in the NFL. Fans nicknamed the Nigerian Nightmare, Christian Okoye. We'll let Christian and the folks in Kansas City take us to kickoff.
Okoye no longer overpowers would-be tacklers, but he still makes quite an impression.
Oh, no. That's too much, man.
Thank you, man. I don't know, man. Good to see you, man.
You won't believe this.
Wait, that's discus.
This is the bag I used to use with my tape measure.
No way.
My
From those
discus.
days, I don't put my shoes. I remember these.
Yeah.
Oh, look at. You see that?
Yeah.
Wow. This is the discus.
Yeah.
Now go ahead and spin. Let's see.
No, man.
Let's see a spin.
I might hit my head on the ground. You know.
No,
It's been 30 years.
Slow motion spin. Slow motion. Slow mo, bro.
Oh, man.
Here we go.
Woof. I'm dizzy. But I tell you what, man, this used to be my love.
Be your home, eh?
Yeah, man. I used to love discus.
Kevin didn't give you one to bring here.
Hey, I brought mine. Yeah. I brought mine, but oh gosh.
So go ahead and spin another one.
This is my first time holding a discus. Really? In 30 years.
Whoa.
Well, did I say 30 years?
Yep.
Don't make me spin, man.
Just one time.
No, I can't.
No.
My
like
shoulder will fall off.
No, just like you did earlier.
I'll do standing through. How's that?
Okay, amen. That's good.
Oh.
Wow.
This guy right here went to 4 Olympics. He went to 4 Olympics.
Hey, but you were part of that history, though.
The fastest man in the 400 meters. What was that? 44.16, right?
44.17. Hey, he was my roommate, so he was a part of the motivation. Many times I wanted to quit the 400. He's like, no, you should run the 400. And then when he started trying to play ball, I said, you got to play ball.
He can show us his technique still.
No, please.
But who said it?
Okoye never realized his Olympic dream. Instead, he became the Nigerian Nightmare.
I don't think so.
He was also a pioneer, the first Nigerian star in the NFL. Thanks to his journey, a new generation can follow in his footsteps.
For a lot of people, if they're watching a sport and they don't know anybody or they don't know much about the sport, it's hard for them to be attached to it. But with Christian Okoye, you saw somebody that you were familiar with, so you could become a fan of that team, of that sport.
And when you see someone who has the same blood as you and same background, you kind of get inspired, like, okay, Christian Okoye did it or does it. Maybe we can do it too.
I was just now getting into football. My dad, born and raised in Nigeria. And I look up Christian Okoye and I see the Nigerian Nightmare. I thought that was a pretty cool thing. That's a pretty cool name. How can I make that somehow a part of my life? So my first email address, and still my email address to this day, is Nigerian Nightmare.
You could ask any Nigerian athlete, the nickname they were probably given was the Nigerian Nightmare. And they would go back and look at his highlights like I did, and you take pride in that.
Hand off Okoye. He's past the 10. He's past the 5. He chucks it. Touchdown. Unbelievable.
I
I told my dad, like, when I moved to the States, people are not going to be able to pronounce my name. He said, look, whatever you're good at, people are going to know your name. For example, Christian Okoye.
A lot of Nigerian descent players looked up to him. He really set the tone for us. That's why so many Nigerian players that are playing the NFL are really, really good at what they do.
You just look at the league today. At one point, just on my team, we had 7 Nigerian guys. Hopefully, not only myself, but all my other peers and the guys behind us, you know, the players that are still to come will continue to follow leadership of guys like Christian. So thank you, Christian, for trailblazing, leading the way.
I'm very, very proud to know that they look up to me. I could have competed in the '84 Olympics and done well, but NFL just gave me a better opportunity.
An incredible run by the Nigerian Nightmare, Christian